Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Ameya. How is it today?
Everything's going great, ma'am.
Okay, so can you brief me a bit about yourself?
Sure, ma'am. I'm Ameya Bansal and I hail from Yamunanagar, Haryana. I graduated from the Doon School, Dehradun in commerce. I had a major lifestyle change when I turned 12 because that's when my parents decided me to send me to a boarding school for better education. Spending more than 6 years of my life in a boarding school taught me various different things. But I think the two most important things that I gained from my experience there was, first of all, how to be emotionally independent. And second of all, which I think is more important, it is how to navigate through people who are actually your friends and who are only there for the short-term benefit. In my schooling years there, I participated in various different clubs and societies, such as the Business Club and the Economic Society. I even served as the editor-in-chief of our school's economics publication, The Econocrat. Apart from that, I'm, my true passion lies on four wheels. I'm a petrol head who is hugely fascinated by high-performance vehicles. And I'm also a diehard football fan. I love playing as well as watching the sport, and I even served as my school's football captain. All in all, I'm very excited to be here and stoked to be talking to esteemed professors like yourself.
Okay, you mentioned football, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So football, matlab, how do you see the game of football in India growing?
I think India has witnessed a lot of stages of football, but right now, after the leadership of Mr. Sunil Chhetri, India has reached a new level of football. A lot of many players who are aspiring to become footballers now actually can see that their dreams have started to be provided with infrastructure that can facilitate them into being a reality. I believe that the scene football has the attention football is gaining in the recent years. It's much more, and the platform is becoming better and better for footballers to perform on an international stage.
Okay, how will you try to use this passion of yours at IIM Rohtak?
Uh, I didn't understand the question. I'm sorry.
How will you make a difference in IIM Rohtak with this passion of yours?
Sure. Just specifically regarding football or in general?
In general, mostly this passion.
Okay. Ma'am, I think football is a sport which is much more than just putting the ball in someone other's net. And, therefore, a passion towards it has taught me a lot of things which I can apply in my life at IIM Rohtak. For example, it has taught me how to be a very good team member. Because in my 6 years, 5 years I was a team member, and only the sixth year I was a team leader. So it has taught me how to be a good team member as well as a good team leader. And I think this is a very skill. This is a skill which is not appreciated as much because everybody says they want to be a good team leader, but I think I would be a very good team member and a very supportive to my team leader at IIM Rohtak. I think
So
being in
what
a
are a few points or qualities of leadership that you learned in those 5 years when you were with some other leader?
can I use an example?
Yes, yes, for sure.
For example, I was an editor of an economics publication in my school, and I remember an instance where our editor in chief at that I was a junior editor, but the editor in chief at that point told us to design the publication in a certain way. I was not the head of designing, but my friend was the graphic designer. And when I was just going to him for some suggestion and some doubts that I had to clarify, I looked at it and thought, this is not a very appeasing design to the eye. He said, I tried to tell the editor in chief, but he said that's how he wants it. He's like, okay, we are a team. It would be wrong for me to not inform him that this is not turning out how he wants it to be. And we went there, we had a proper conversation, and therefore I was able to explain to him why this won't work according to my opinion. And therefore he actually really valued it and he understood it, and he made changes thereafter to make it suitable and the best version it can be of itself. I think many people shy out of the responsibility of providing feedback to the leader just because they feel that they might be criticized for it, or the leader might not take it, or he might feel undervalued. But I think
I
this
mean,
is something
I'm sorry
to be
for cutting
avoided.
you out in between. I wish to know the difference between criticism and feedback because I just want to know what you did, what he could not.
I'm sorry, sir, I could
What
not.
you did in this particular incident that the other person could not.
The other person who was beside me,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think there they played the game of confidence. He was not confident enough in providing the same opinion
All right.
to the editor chief in the way I did. I mentioned that it was his idea,
Hmm.
and I presented in a way in which I felt that I believed in what I was saying. When he presented to the editor chief, I feel that he did not portray in such words that he believed what he was trying to convey. So I think
Okay,
that is
my
where,
subsequent question on this particular point would be, what is the exact difference between feedback and criticism?
okay. So I think both are similar on a lot of grounds, but criticism can something can I just take a moment to phrase my thoughts? I'm
Yes,
sorry.
yes, sure.
Okay. So I think feedback is usually regarding positive uh, changes that you can make. But criticism is not afraid of being negative. It can be negative in a way that it can help the other person understand where he's going wrong. But feedback is more, for example, I would say, I can use an example. If I'm playing a football match, in the halftime game, when there's the halftime break, I would give feedback to my team in order to tell them where they're going wrong. But after the game, I would use
I mean, I'm not
construct.
satisfied with the answer. Remember asking the answer for this particular thing at the end of the interview. Okay.
Okay,
All right. Over to you, Shruti.
Okay, Ameya. So why should we select you at IIM Rohtak?
okay, ma'am.
I don't need a very big answer, just a short, sweet, and a crisp answer.
Okay. I I feel that at my time at my boarding school and a lot of other places had given me a passion for management. And since I'm from a business background, I am extremely interested in the subject, and therefore I have an interest in the subject, and therefore I would be a good addition to the place because, first of all, I feel that I have the confidence to bring in feedback as well as criticism to my team members, and I won't be afraid to provide people with the constructive help that they can get from my side as a junior.
Okay,
Junior.
after so many such qualities of yours as well, if I compare you to the other interviews which I'm taking an interview on, I still don't select you. What will be your reaction?
Okay. Well, in that case, I would just ponder. I would go into a sort of introspection. I would see where I went wrong and what I could do better. I think that's the only way that I could go on forward from this.
Okay, that's from my side. Rahul sir.
You informed us that you are from commerce background, right?
Yes, sir.
What are indifference curves?
Okay. So indifference curve is a curve which shows a graph of various commodity bundles which provide the same amount of utility to the consumer.
Okay. And that's it, or would like to expand?
So I think that is all I can say at this moment.
Monotonic preferences. Do you recall something around monotonic preferences?
No, sir, I cannot recall.
What does word utility stand in law of marginal, law of diminishing, diminishing law of marginal utility?
So do you want me to explain the
Yeah,
meaning of
word
the
utility only.
I didn't understand the question as in the word
What is the meaning
utility.
of utility?
Oh, so utility is the satisfaction that a consumer derives from the consumption of a product.
All right. Uh, what is the slope of indifference curve?
The indifferent curve goes from the left, slopes from the left towards the right.
What do we, I mean, shape क्या है उसका?
So it's in a shape of a parabola,
Are you sure?
not, it's like an ink. Actually, I'm sorry, I do not have the exact information for this.
Meaning of word purchasing power parity?
So I cannot recall at the moment.
Okay. What are Giffen goods?
So different goods are goods that do not obey the law of demand. They are inferior goods for which the demand increases when the price increases, such as bread or salt, which are basic necessities.
All right. Uh, what will happen to products like Mercedes in such cases?
So I think most luxury products, if they do not follow the law of demand, can be called as Veblen goods.
Okay.
These are superior goods for which the demand rises when the price rises.
Okay. Can you help me understand what is price inelasticity?
Sure, sir. So is it for demand or supply or
Anything, I mean,
okay, just in general.
yeah.
So price elasticity refers to a concept when
Inelasticity, not elasticity.
oh, I'm extremely sorry.
Yeah.
Price price inelastic price inelasticity refers to a concept where the change in demand or supply is less than equal to the change in price.
Give me an example.
Sure, sir. So can I use a graph or a pen and paper to show you the graph?
In terms of goods, can you explain something?
So price
So we were in conversation. I just asked a question related to that conversation only.
okay.
Just
So
recall you.
I think price inelastic goods would be goods such as necessity, such as salt or newspaper, for example, since they do not take a lot of portion of the income of the consumer, and since they don't have a lot of close substitutes, uh, changes in price won't really affect a
Are you
lot.
sure?
Translate. I believe so, but I may be wrong.
Okay. So you were in a boarding school, right? And that too
Yes,
in
sir.
Dehradun, one of the
Yes,
most
sir.
prestigious schools of the country.
Yes, sir.
I wish to know more about Robert's Cave. Any idea? It was in
Um,
Dehradun.
so I'm unaware of this.
You were in Mussoorie or Dehradun?
So there, though.
देहरादून में रॉबर्ट्स केव क्या है नहीं पता?
No, sir.
You spent a lot of time over there.
Yes, sir.
Okay. My next question is, name any three rivers uh, that come from Pakistan to India. Okay, two.
So I cannot recall.
You you can't recall. Prime Minister of Pakistan is
So after Mr. Imran Khan was removed as a prime minister, I cannot recall the current one.
uh, name any three southern states and the chief ministers.
Southern states.
Yeah.
So I can name the states, but I cannot name the chief ministers.
Okay. My next question is, you're from Yamunanagar, right?
Yes, sir.
It falls in Uttar Pradesh or
Haryana.
Haryana?
Haryana.
Haryana. Okay. ठीक है. I'll skip this. Let me ask this. Who got Bharat Ratna lately?
So I cannot recall.
Okay. Uh, Recently, Rafa is in news.
Yes,
It's
sir.
in the headlines,
Yes, sir.
and also you can see it in the stories of
Stories as
Instagram.
Instagrams. Yes, sir.
Huh? So how does it come in the Instagram story?
So it's the word all eyes on Rafa.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
What does it mean?
Oh,
Actually,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. So
Why is it
recently,
trending?
okay. So recently, so Israel conducted a strike in a place called Rafah in Gaza,
Mhm.
and in which almost 45 civilian lives were lost, and it is being given a lot of media attention because the United States also stated that if Rafah is attacked by Israel, they would stop all military and all funding towards this war.
I think that's all from my side. Anything from your side, Shruti, ma'am, or else I should proceed with
No,
extempore?
we can extempore topic.
Yeah. So the extempore topic is something that I took from your interview only, and the topic is being emotionally independent.
Okay. So yeah. Being emotionally independent is a skill that one has to learn in life, because the ones he's dependent on for emotional support, well, the sad reality is that they will not remain with him or her for the rest of his life. I got the opportunity to acquire this skill at a very young age, for which I'm very grateful for to my parents. When I joined school, I was extremely sad. And I remember after the first 15 days, when we were allowed to make our first phone call to our parents, I cried on the phone. I said, "Oh, I don't want to stay here. This place is not built for me. And I want to come back as soon as possible." I was on call with my mother at that time, and she was extremely sad, but she helped me with the courage to push through. And she helped, and that is very crucial for me in the development of the person of who I became today. I think for one joins college and one joins university, then one goes to open his own business or do a job, and then he's emotionally distant from the people he loves. And therefore, one has to acquire the skill of emotional independence, because he needs to be independent in a way that fall, he can keep his head on his own shoulder in case of loneliness. Because the sad reality is you always do not have a partner on which you can confide in with everything and with all the emotional needs. And I think it also does make you a better person in that sense, because it helps you understand which people you can actually trust with your emotions. Because those people who open your heart out to, well, if they are your closest friends, they can become your greatest allies in life. And I think emotional independence, the main focus of emotional independence
Thank
is
you, Ameya.
it
Thanks a
helps
lot.
you trust. Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
I'll give you some advice and suggestions, and then
Sure.
we'll move to Shruti ma'am for the feedback part one, and feedback part two I'll be giving you later.
Awesome.
Uh, so you look good, but you can use it better. So one suggestion from my side would be if you can keep your hair up, if that's a possible. These days there are some natural products that are coming in. If you can use them,
Hair.
because, yeah, because you know your forehead should be visible. That's
Yes. Okay.
forehead.
Yes.
If your
Now this
forehead
is
is visible, yeah,
I'll take.
yeah, because and use it to complete extent. Okay, wear a very good formal shirt. It should be a very good. Purchase it from a very good store. Wear a blazer, a good pant, tie, and certainly go for an interview on that particular day. You should be looking very, very fresh. Take bath,
Yes, sir.
eat dahi shakkar, and then go. And you are confident. You have got good communication skill sets. Uh, yeah, proceed. Yes, Shruti, ma'am, over
So
to you.
if I may just ask a question.
I'll be giving you feedback. You can ask that point of time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, few things. Initially, you were like very nervous.
Yes.
वो तो Rahul sir told you that we'll be recording it for YouTube and all. We started it all over again. But at the very first glance, you were very nervous. Post the second chance, very good at communication skills, confidence good. But the first instance, मतलब I think it was मतलब I am Rohtak को इंटरव्यू देने जा रहे हो आप मतलब हमें वो first instance nervous होना ही नहीं चाहिए. Okay, you need to brush up a lot on academics.
Yes,
I know
ma'am.
boarding schools मतलब you might be मतलब बहुत बार academics वो हो जाता है मतलब at a stake आ जाता है मतलब not knowing the prime minister of Pakistan, rivers passing from Pakistan to India and all very very basic things.
Okay, ma'am. I'll do that.
Academics, just we have academic sessions as well. We've lined up. You're a PCM student or a commerce student?
Commerce, ma'am.
Commerce student. So today we have a session on commerce. Tomorrow we have a session on commerce. I think 1 to 2:30 was the time, Rahul sir, right? You can watch it in a recorded format as well. Make sure because you'll get the kind of questions, the typical kind of questions which are asked every year. Even if you brush up those questions only, dig deep dive into those questions itself, you'll be through, Amit. So watch those sessions on commerce, or if you have, did you have maths as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Maths as well. So commerce and mathematics session will be a good to go thing. Rahul sir has recorded 3 sessions on the do's and don'ts of interview, how to sit, how to this forehead hair which Rahul sir spoke of. That was a kind of a point of I would not say distraction, but since the forehead should be visible.
Okay, ma'am.
You were appealing, सब कुछ अच्छा लग रहा था मतलब but that charisma would have been great. GK current affairs, I told you, academics मतलब has to be brushed up. Rahul, so
Okay.
we need to talk about that feedback and criticism part as well.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
But before that, some solid feedback to you, Ameya. So when you started this particular interview, the graph was over here, but it went down like this.
Okay.
And it is a honest feedback from my side. Some plus from my side, that you're confident. Yes, you were nervous initially, but throughout the interview you were confident. Second point, you have got fantastic communication skill sets. Third point, you have got extremely good background. You are from one of the most coveted schools of the country, right? जिसको सालों सालों तक covet किया जाता है, वहां से पढ़े हो आप. I mean, it is an eyebrow raising thing for everyone. Okay, uh, but you are not utilizing it. That's an issue. And issues kahan kahan par hai, I'll tell you. You know, academics wasn't brushed up enough. So ideally, you should be going through each piece of page of your book. Spend 3 hours at least. Economics को 4 घंटे दो, business studies को 4 घंटे दो, mathematics को 3-4 घंटे दो. 10-12 घंटे की एक्सरसाइज होनी चाहिए कि एक एक पन्ना पलट के देखते जाओ. अब तो पढ़ लिया, एग्जाम दे दिया. यू शुड बी नोइंग ईच एंड एवरी पेज नाउ. जल्दी जल्दी निकलना चाहिए. वो 3-4 घंटे बस देखते जाओ क्या क्या है, तो मेमोरी में बैठी रहेगी एंड यू कैन आंसर दैट वन.
अच्छा.
सबसे बड़ा मेरे लिए सेटबैक था इस पर्टिकुलर इंटरव्यू का रॉबर्ट्स केव. आपने इतना साल देहरादून में स्पेंड किया एंड यू डू नॉट नो अबाउट रॉबर्ट्स केव. देहरादून मसूरी में रहने के बाद अगर मुझसे कोई, आई एम टेकिंग दिस पर्टिकुलर इंटरव्यू फ्रॉम भोपाल, और मुझसे कोई बोले कि बड़ा तालाब क्या है, and
पता
I,
होना
I'm
चाहिए.
I'm not able to answer that. So that was a big no for me. So and उसके बाद ये भी मुझे पता पड़ा कि आपको डेमोग्राफी के बारे में, ज्योग्राफी के बारे में कुछ नहीं पता है. So that was completely no for me. And मुझे एक चीज लगी कि आप थर्ड सेशन मेरा देखना. आपने शायद मेरी क्लासेस नहीं देखी है.
So एक देखिए, please sorry.
फर्स्ट देखिए, थर्ड
Yes.
क्लास जरूर देखना. वेर आई हैव टोल्ड कि आपको कौन कौन से एस्पेक्ट्स पे काम करना चाहिए.
ठीक है सर.
एंड मैप्स वाला जो एस्पेक्ट है, डेमोग्राफी वाला जो एस्पेक्ट है, ज्योग्राफी वाला जो एस्पेक्ट है, वहां पर आई थिंक नेगेटिव मार्क्स है. सो एकेडमिक्स में अगर इफ आई रेट यू 5 out of 10, communication में if I give you 8.5 to 9, but when it comes to geography,
No.
demography, awareness, general awareness, GK, it's negative, not even 0. So that can take your chances completely. मतलब इतना आगे पहुंचने के बाद make sure you're utilizing a lot of time over there. अब सुबह को जल्दी उठो, रात को जल्दी, because you've got a personality to get inside IIM Rohtak. Last feedback. So I can see that you have a lot of interest in sports, ठीक है? बट कहीं ये मत शोकेस कर दो इंटरव्यूअर को कि आप स्पोर्ट्स के लिए बने हुए हो. तो हम लोग कैसे, मैंने जब आंसर करना सिखाया होगा एचआर में, एचआर वाले जो मैंने सेगमेंट्स रखे हुए हैं, उसमें एक चीज बताई थी, हमेशा अचीवमेंट को सामने वाले के यूज के लिए बताओ. आई कैन बी हेल्पफुल फॉर IIM Rohtak बिकॉज आई कैन बी हेल्पफुल फॉर IIM Rohtak. तो पहले अपनी पूरी चीजें बोलने के बाद अपनी स्ट्रेंथ को. सो लास्ट ईयर वी हैड अ किड जिसने चेस कॉमनवेल्थ के लिए खेला था, और उसने शुरुआत ही ऐसा किया, एंड आई गेव द फीडबैक कि यार तेरे को रिजेक्ट कर देंगे. अगर तू चेस के लिए बना हुआ है तो तू मैनेजमेंट क्यों पढ़ने आया?
Okay.
प्रोफाइल मिसमैच. तो ये कहीं
Yes.
पर भी प्रोफाइल मिसमैच नहीं होना चाहिए.
Okay,
प्रोफाइल
sir.
मिसमैच ना हो उसके लिए अपने को करना क्या पड़ेगा, हम शुरू से लेकर एंड तक अपने को मैनेजमेंट फोकस दिखाएं, एंड लास्ट में आई एम गोइंग टू बी हेल्पफुल बिकॉज आई हैव बीन सॉकर कैप्टन और व्हाटएवर, आई मीन फुटबॉल.
I should highlight it in the first instance. End के लिए छोड़ दो.
उसको एंड के लिए छोड़ दो,
Okay.
है ना? ठीक है बेटा.
Okay.
ये
Okay.
चीज मेरी तरफ से थी. एंड आई थिंक श्रुति ने मुझे रिमाइंड करवाया फीडबैक और क्रिटिसिज्म के बीच में डिफरेंस. सो फीडबैक पॉजिटिव प्लस नेगेटिव. देखो, दो डिफरेंसेस है फीडबैक और क्रिटिसिज्म में. आप सबसे पहले कभी किसी को भी फीडबैक दोगे तो पॉजिटिव बात स्टार्ट कर कर फिर उसको बताओगे दिस इज योर स्कोप ऑफ इंप्रूवमेंट. बट क्रिटिसिज्म में आप नेगेटिव बोलोगे. दूसरी चीज, द एनर्जी यूज्ड. क्रिटिसिज्म की एनर्जी हमेशा नेगेटिव रहेगी. सामने वाले को हमेशा वाइब्रेशन आ जाएगी.
Seriousness ज्यादा हो गया है.
नहीं, आई एम नॉट, मतलब सामने वाला, अगर तुम किसी को क्रिटिसाइज करोगे, राइट, तो सामने वाला समझ जाएगा कि इसका इंटेंट अच्छा नहीं है.
Negative. हाँ, okay, understood.
एनर्जी, आई होप यू इंटेंट वर्ड एनर्जी से बेटर है इधर, जो तुम समझ पा रहे हो. और फीडबैक के केस में हमेशा तुम्हारी एनर्जी पॉजिटिव होगी, तुम्हारी
Okay, sir.
वाइब्रेशंस पॉजिटिव होगी, तुम्हारा इंटेंट होगा कि उसका भला हो सामने वाले का. I hope you
Okay.
get this
Understood.
difference,
Yes, sir.
right? Anything else, or shall we call it a day?
So I just have one question from
Yeah,
my side.
please.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So I sometimes feel that I have a tendency of elaborating on what I speak. So I feel that sometimes मैं बहुत लंबा बोल देता हूँ, मेरे को पता नहीं चलता क्योंकि मैं इतना इंटरेस्टेड हो जाता हूँ. तो मेरे को फील करना है कि was this were there points in my interview that you felt that okay just shut up,
नहीं, you're not
as in
verbose.
मतलब
I
you
don't
need to
feel so that
stop
you're
elaborating.
verbose. अगर हम ये फीलिंग आई होती है कि आप ज्यादा बोलते हो, तो हमने
Yes, sir.
आपको बोल दिया होता, बट ऐसा नहीं है.
Okay.
ठीक
So
है.
it's just something I'm like तो मेरे को लगता है तो I
आई
just ask.
थिंक
Okay. Okay.
आप
Okay.
सही बोल रहे हो जितना बोलना चाहिए. ठीक है. चलो, थैंक यू अमिया.
Thank you so much for your feedback, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, welcome.